I'd like to talk today about prayer. Someone was mentioning the thought about prayer, and I thought, you know what? Prayer, it changes lives. And I was thinking about this verse, Luke 21:36. Watch ye therefore and pray always. You know, I've had so many great answers to prayer. I've had small answers to prayer, but every answer was just a blessing to me. I remember many, many years ago when I was still learning about faith in God, I was going to be painting the dining hall, redecorating the dining hall. We're at the camp that we were at. And boy, I had to pray down the money for the paint because the camp didn't have any money. I was going to use pieces of plywood and make it look something like a Cracker Barrel with all types of old-fashioned things on the wall that my father-in-law had. And so I was praying, watching for God to provide and praying for the money to get this paint. And Dr. Joe Boyd found out, I don't remember how, I don't think I went around talking about it, but he found out that I was praying for money for the dining hall. And in our little chapel down there, which we only had a handful of people, and it was of few town people and mostly workers of the camp, he took up an offering, and they got $258, which was enough to buy the paint that I needed. That was such an answer to prayer for me, and it taught me how to watch and pray. Pray and then watch for God to provide for it. And then I remember a time when we were at this is during my early years of faith, and we were at the camp, and we didn't have many bills. Of course, we didn't have any income, but we didn't have many bills, but we had to pay our insurance. And I was just watching and praying for God to provide each month for our insurance. It was something like $100 a month. And so that's insurance for our cars, I meant. And I was watching and praying, and we were past due. I'll be honest with you. I'm thanking God that the insurance companies gives you grace, the 10 days grace. And so a couple days into being past due, I was still watching and praying, and all of a sudden we got a check from a church in Ohio that had taken us on for support, and it was $100, just enough to pay for our insurance. And I thought, oh, it's so fun to watch and pray and then see God provide. It's just so fun. Then later on, many years later on, when I was watching and praying, we were asking God for Kevin's father to get well. And he had come down with a very rare disease called transverse myelitis. I think it's related to multiple sclerosis, but it was very fast moving. And we were watching and praying and asking God to heal him. Now, of course, many of you that know us know that Kevin's dad passed away in 2000. So God didn't choose to heal him. We were watching and praying, and he didn't heal him. But you know what? He did answer our prayer, because he did heal him and took him to heaven. But that wasn't the kind of answer that I was looking for at that point. But it still was an answer. And you know what? I had the grace that God gave me to accept it. And that's part of watching and praying, is accepting whatever direction God chooses to go, whether it's to actually answer the prayer, or it's in the way that you want it, or that you can accept the way that he chooses to answer it. That's part of faith too. Let's learn about watching and praying. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice.